Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian and I am the Horror Show host. And today I am taking a look at the movies I watched in the month of July 2020. I shall talk about each movie individually, starting now. The first movie I watched was Dark Age from 1987. I truly enjoy this movie. It's not like a horror movie per se, it's more of a save the croc while it kills a few people kind of movie, for justifiable reasons as well. It's got a lot of heart, a lot of charm, and well-shot cinematography, and cool camera tricks, and a great, giant, practical crocodile. The second movie I watched was Planet of the Sharks. Now, I have a review for this out, along with its sequel. Well, actually, it's a prequel, but for now, let's just talk a little bit about it and then move on. Like all the other segments in this episode. Planet of the Sharks, everybody. It's quite the ridiculous flick with the ridiculous plot and the ridiculous amount of times they spew scientific quote-unquote logic. But I have a lot of fun with this movie. It's got some crazy scenarios, cheesy epic action sequences, and it's just a lot of fun. Not the best shark movie, no, definitely not. And it has some pretty poor CGI, but in terms of entertainment, you could do worse. The third movie I watched was Empire of the Sharks. This is the prequel to Planet of the Sharks, and they upped the quality and CGI, but everything else is kind of subpar compared to the first one. Some of the acting is hokey and corny, and I love it. There's a little bit more blood, but I kind of prefer the first one a bit more. Maybe if I watched them again back to back, it'd change. They're kind of equal in their own ways. Like, they have good things and bad things, and the subsequent prequel has bad things but good things that are a lot different than the first one, but the same at the same time. I'm trying to say that everything that was good about the first is kind of bad about this one, and everything that was bad about the first is good in this one. So, you can't win. The fourth movie I watched was Dark Waters. Now, this had a substantial upgrade in quality compared to a lot of shark films from this early 2000s era. It wasn't nearly as bad as some of the other ones like Shark Zone or Shark Attack 3 Megalodon, or even Shark Attack 2 for that matter. Shark Attack 1's actually kind of good. And not so bad it's a good kind of way. I mean, the other ones are too. What am I saying? Dark Waters. It's got a lot of good things about it, but there could have been more gore and shark action. The fifth movie I watched was Blue Demon. This had charm and it had potential, but the charm is squandered by the wasted potential. It's so bad. It's probably the worst shark movie I've seen that I reviewed on my first Shark Week. You can't get quite as bad as Blue Demon, but actually, yeah, you can. You can get a lot worse. This is not the worst shark movie ever. I think I was a little harsh with my... Was it a 0.5 or a 1 out of 5? I don't know. There are worse shark movies for sure. This one just kind of irritated me when I reviewed it, at the time of me reviewing it. The sixth movie I watched was The Reef. This was supposed to be a part of my Shark Week, but I never got around to recording, and editing, and even uploading a review for this movie. I just had so many movies to watch and do other stuff that I couldn't fit it into the schedule. I was disappointed, because it's a really good movie. It's very intense. There's not a lot of shark carnage or gore, but the suspense makes up for it. The seventh movie I watched was Tremors 5, Bloodlines. Now, this is the best since probably the second, to be honest. It's really, really good. The humor is a little different because it's a different decade than when the last one came out, the fourth one. So it's gonna be different. It's gonna have a more polished look. It's gonna get rid of some of that charm from the first four. So it's trying to be big and epic, and it's doing a good job at it. The eighth movie I watched was Tremors: A Cold Day in Hell. Now, Tremors 6. Wow. What a downgrade. It's entertaining. It's got some crazy gore sequences involving the creatures, but the characters are so not really wooden, but overdone. There's a lot of characters, and they're zany and over the top. When really the only character that was in the last one was Jamie Kennedy being over the top and zany and quirky. Now everyone is. It's kind of distracting. Probably the worst one yet, and I can't wait for Tremors Shrieker Island, which I do prefer the title Island Fury, but the 7th installment, guys, it's still going. The 9th movie I watched was Crawl. Now, much like Dark Age, this was supposed to be a part of a Crocalgator week that will happen eventually, but I have had so much work, not only in videos, but my actual job, so it'll have to be delayed for a little while, but I do have some stuff in the crock pot, and it's going to come out soon, hopefully by the end of this year. The 10th movie I watched was Rogue. This movie is honestly one of my favorites, if not my favorite crocodile or even alligator movie. It is so good. It doesn't even have a huge body count or a lot of gore. It's just really suspenseful, very good effects, especially for 2008. The acting is really good. The characters I liked, even the ones that were kind of intolerable, were still interesting enough to watch because they weren't useless. They had ideas on how to escape, and it really worked. The 11th movie I watched was Pterodactyl. Pterodactyl. Oh god, this movie. It's a lot of fun, a lot of gore, a lot of stupidity, a lot of bad character writing, and dialogue and action sequences are pretty poor, and there's a disjointed plot that kind of comes together forcibly. It's a terrible movie, but it's a lot of fun. I won't say too much about it because I have a review for it coming out, so, yeah. The 12th movie I watched was Deep Blue Sea 3. I loved Deep Blue Sea 3, almost as much as the first, and a lot more than the second. This is one of the best movies I reviewed during Shark Week this year, and it's really well made. The acting is not that bad. There are some good kills. The CGI is actually really well done for a $5 million budgeted film. Way better than the second and, dare I say, first. The 13th movie I watched was Shark Night. Shark Night is... it's fun. For PG-13, it's got some good kills. It has a lot of entertainment, and I think a lot of people, when this first came out, were so harsh on it. Especially after the last 3D movie that came out that was balls-to-the-wall, gory, Piranha 3D. This was a PG-13 teenage slasher movie that just happened to have sharks. The 14th and final movie I watched in the month of July was Summer Camp Nightmare. I turned this on. I was going to do some work, and I ended up watching the whole thing. It's pretty good. It's not a horror movie, it's more of like a rebellion teenage movie with some minor horror elements. It's got a lot of heart. And you gotta give credit to that. It's not the best teenage rebellion film. It's probably one of the better ones I've seen. Not a lot of people know about it. Apparently. I'm not sure. I haven't really researched it too much. But I did find out that one of the teenagers is Court from Friday the 13th Part 6, which was... Actually, I was like, is that Court? That's Court! Court! Anyways, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Those are all the movies I watched in the month of July 2020. Thank you all for watching, and I am Brian Gatto, the horror show host. Make sure to like, comment on, as well as share this video. Like my Facebook fan page, and support me on Patreon, where even $1 a month will help keep this channel going on strong, and I'd greatly appreciate it. Plus, you got access to body counts and other kinds of music videos that you can't get on YouTube because of copyright and age restriction. Also hits that notification bell, and as always, subscribe.